we're going to try kind of we're going to try to morph the real estate update to also be an island news update. So why don't we do it? Let's go in clockwise format. Dylan, and then Scott, and then Heidi. Dylan, give me the update. What are you hearing on the Big On? What's going on?
Not a whole lot significant. I mean, I've actually been out of the loop this week, so I haven't been keeping up with any news locally. But from a real estate standpoint, the market continues to be strong, but we're seeing a slowdown in the number of units that are selling. And we've been talking about this for the last couple of months, mainly just because there's not as much on the market to sell. So like last month, there was 51 homes sold. In the Kona market, there was 67 sold 12 months ago in October. So that's going to continue. The median prices are continuing to be up. They're up 100,000 in my market, in the Kona market from a year ago. So it was around 850 last year. It's 970 this year. So nothing's really changing. Inventory is still not at record lows, and so
market's still tight.
It's kind of status quo. Yeah, it's the tight status quo from the last 5-6 months has been the same.
Right.
Yeah.
What's
we hit the bottom? We hit the bottom in July, right, of inventory, and then it creeped up a little bit. Went from 330 back up to 400 homes on the island, and then we're kind of just hovering around 400, 420. When normally that number is 1,000 or 1,300. So still significantly down.
Well, let's see. I think we got Alex here is looking to buy a condo on the main island. Well, Alex, what's the main island? What main island are we talking about? There's some people might think that the Big Island is the main island because it's the largest, but others would say that Oahu is the main island because Oahu is where the capital is, and also where Honolulu is. So let us know. Sounds like you, Alex, that I would guess main island would be Oahu, where there's vacation rentals and VRBO, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on about that I think Scott is going to let us up on. Let's see, Nina. Yeah, so I think that's that. We'll carry. Paul, we'll take your question in a sec about the why we may not be doing the Singapore model, or why we might be doing the Singapore model. Depends. But anyway, that's that. So Dylan, I'm just kind of curious, is there any kind of update on what's the cultural vibe on the Big On with masking and social distancing, etc.? Here, I got to say it's pretty strict. Yeah, Alex says Oahu. Okay, great. So Alex, real quick, in the description of either you're coming in over Facebook, in the Facebook description, there's a link. Click on that link. There's a form. Pop it in, and we'll have Scott follow up with you on that right away. Dylan, what's the vibe here on Oahu is that people are still. I mean, I'm still seeing people with their masks on in the car by themselves with the windows rolled up. That's my favorite line. What's your sense of that on the Big On? Anything? I'm just kind of curious.
I don't think it's really changed. From the beginning, we've talked about in the past that people are, relatively compliant, right? I mean, people don't, aren't, they're not contrarian here, right? So most people have just, you got to wear your mask to go into Walmart, they wear their mask. But I feel like, and I've talked about this before, I think people publicly follow, whatever the mandate is at the time. We don't have any additional mandates on top of what the state puts out. You guys have in Oahu, you have kind of like additional mandates that the county puts on in addition to the state mandates. So we don't have any of those. But privately, I mean, I've been to many gatherings and private parties and stuff, and even like at hotels and stuff like that. Like once the doors close on the meeting room, people take off their masks and do whatever they're going to do, right? So once there's no eyes on and you can't get in trouble or yelled at anymore, people just do whatever they want. So
right. So we're yielding to public peer pressure and following the rules like we always do in Hawaii. You're very right. Hawaii, the local culture, I think I'd have to say it's as a result of a largely Asian impact. It's very much go along to get along. Right. One of the famous sayings that comes to mind right now is the nail that sticks out gets pounded. Right. That's I used to hear that one a lot. Scott, give us the update. What's going on Oahu? What are you seeing? Any reflection on the short-term rental thing? Anything else you want to add about Oahu news?
Yeah, on the short-term rental component, I'm hearing rumors that is going to pass, and I said my piece a few shows ago. I don't agree with it. I think it's going to be a train wreck, and I think it's that there's going to be zero benefit from it. I think it's going to be actually worse. I've never seen the neighborhoods being overrun with vacation rentals. Yeah, there were some problems in that bill significantly that they passed a couple of years ago. I think it was Bill 89, if I'm not mistaken. significantly handled it, and the DPP never even gave it a chance to get off the ground. Now they're wanting to change things and be even more restrictive. I think the unintended consequences of it are going to be far worse than the benefits. As far as the vacancy tax, I don't understand that one either. I mean, the $3 million condo by someone who's from Japan that leaves it vacant in YA or something, it's not like a local person's going to be able to afford the rent on that or afford to buy it. So, whatever. There's not a whole lot to say about it really, other than we'll see.
Well, it's one of these things where you're gonna, you speak your piece. Everyone, does their testimony, and then you kind of the political winds go where they go. Unfortunately, for lack of a better thing. Really quick, I wanted to give a quick a recognition, a shout out to Auntie Joyce. Auntie's home 93 days away. Auntie Joyce, that is a long. You've been away for a long time. It's been at least about a month, if not two, already. So. I hope you're having a good time there, but we are glad that you are here with us, and hope you're here and reconnecting.
I think she's saying she was away for 93 days, so she's finally home. So she was gone. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. I thought it was like 93 days away from coming home. So good. Auntie is home. Okay, thank you. I get it now. See, thanks Dylan for that shift. It's funny, right? I kind of read into what I wanted to read into it, right?
It's not what you write; it's what people read.
That's right. So now I read to say Auntie is home. She was away for 93 days, but now she's home. Good to have you back home. Regardless, Heidi, give us the update over there. Heidi, we heard the news that Jeff Bezos bought a 78 hair gang. How about this gang? Jeff Bezos. I don't know if you all saw this in the news now. Jeff Bezos. Let me zoom in on me here. Jeff Bezos bought a $78 million property on Maui. Now that's got to be one heck of a property. And I was just really hoping that Heidi was the one that sold it to him. Heidi, give us the update on what's going on in Maui.
Yes, that was a very exciting and notable sale. Unfortunately, I was not the agent on that one. But Maui's doing great. I guess there is some news yesterday. Upcountry on Maui has been experiencing some drought conditions, and it's not impacting so much the area where I live and some parts of the island, but it's just been really dry. And the governor actually signed an emergency proclamation the other day because of drought conditions on Maui. So hopefully some of the farmers and ranchers being affected up there will get some aid. Now, as far as real estate news, I mean, I think it's interesting that over half of sales are closing at or above list price. I mean, that was not the case a few years ago. And I know we've been talking about the market. October on Maui, the median price of single family home dropped below $1 million. It's at $983,500 now. And for condos, median price is at $650,000. And number of transactions is up, almost 100% compared to last year. So it's been a busy year. There have not been, besides Jeff Bezos, not as many of the high-end luxury homes closed last month as were closing like around April and May this year. But it's really too early to tell if that's really a change. I mean, the market's been more or less stable in the, stable and bananas.
Stable, but I think that's the thing that's really rather remarkable, because the consistent thing I'm catching from all you folks is that the market is sort of the new status quo, if you will, not to call it a new normal, but the new status quo is kind of really very favorable seller conditions. Prices are going for over list. It's not a lot of inventory. Scott, you want to add anything into that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we're going to have a little bit of slowdown in the numbers because it's holiday times, and we're going to see a little bit of the hangover from when Ige said, "Don't come and visit." Right then, if you have less visitors here, you're probably going to have some less transactions. I'm seeing a little blip in the condo side, but the fundamentals themselves, the inventory itself, is not growing. And that Hawaii Kai home I brought on the market last week had over 70 parties through my open house. It was exhausting. And I had 10 offers. We're almost 200,000 over asking. There were 40 40 showings during brokers open times on this Manoa property I'm going to be putting an offer in on over the weekend. And then there's one in like even a condo in Mililani that I'm going to be putting an offer in on. Last 2 sold at 105% list to sales price ratio. So there's enough buyers. Even if we slow down a little bit, there's enough buyers in the market just to keep steamrolling this thing forward.
And there are those new buyers from South Korea who are apparently going to be coming, as we have mentioned many shows ago. So it's going to be I think we're going to be in for kind of a little bit of a wild